My dear child, stop whatever you are doing right now. Just stop. Put everything down. Close the other tabs. Silence the other thoughts. Because what is happening in this exact moment is not something small. It is not just another video playing in the background of your busy life. This is something different. This is something personal. This is something that was made specifically for you, placed in your path at exactly the right time, on exactly the right day, in exactly the right moment of your life when you needed it most. You may not fully understand why you stopped here. Maybe you were scrolling and something made you pause. Maybe you were looking for something else entirely and ended up here instead. Maybe you almost kept going, but something pulled at you from the inside, some quiet tug in your chest that said, "Wait, listen to this one." That pull was not an accident. That was not your own curiosity working on its own. That was something much greater than coincidence reaching into your afternoon and saying, "Not yet. Stay here. This is for you." And I want you to know from the very first word of this message, you are not just a viewer right now. You are not just an audience. You are the reason this message exists. Every single word that follows was formed with you in mind. Not a general you, not a crowd, not a category of people. You. The specific, particular, irreplaceable person sitting or standing or lying down in the exact place you are right now, carrying exactly what you are carrying, feeling exactly what you are feeling. So before we go any further, I need you to make a simple decision. Decide to be fully here. Not halfway here while also thinking about dinner or tomorrow's schedule or the conversation you had this morning that is still bothering you. Fully here. Because what is about to happen in your heart over the next few minutes is worth your complete attention. It is worth more than anything else you had planned for this hour. And when it is over, you will understand exactly why you were led here today. Now let me begin with the most important thing I could ever say to you. The thing that changes everything once you truly believe it. The thing that has the power to completely transform the way you see yourself, the way you carry your days, and the way you move into your future. I am with you. Not was with you. Not will be with you someday when you get yourself together. I am with you, right now, in this room, in this moment. Closer to you than the air touching your skin. Closer to you than the sound of your own breathing. I am here and I have always been here, and there is not a single moment of your life, not 1 second, not 1 heartbeat, where I was not completely and fully present with you. I know that might be hard to believe. I know life has given you many reasons to doubt that. I know there have been seasons that felt so cold, so silent, so empty, that the idea of a loving presence nearby felt like a beautiful story that simply did not apply to your reality. I know there have been nights so dark that the distance between you and heaven felt infinite. I know you have prayed prayers that seemed to disappear into the ceiling. I know you have cried tears that felt like they meant nothing to anyone. I know you have waited and waited and waited for something to change, and the waiting wore you down to the bone. But hear me now. Every one of those moments, every dark night, every unanswered feeling, every stretch of silence, I was there, not watching from a distance, not observing with detached interest. I was there beside you, feeling everything you felt, carrying what you could not carry, holding the pieces of you that were too small for your own hands to hold. I was in the room every single time. I never left. I never looked away. I never got tired of being with you. And I am not going anywhere now. This is the foundation of everything else I want to say to you today. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And you will never be alone. Let that truth begin to settle into you like warmth into cold bones. Let it move past your mind and into your heart. Let it reach the deep places where the loneliness lives, those hidden corners of your soul that you do not show anyone. The places where you keep the weight you carry in secret. Let this truth find those places and begin to change them, because loneliness cannot survive in the presence of real love, and real love is exactly what I bring. My child, every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now, if this message is already speaking to something inside you, if you feel that quiet recognition that says this is what I needed to hear, I want to ask you to do something simple. Subscribe to this channel. There are people in your life, people you know and people you have never met, who are sitting in the same quiet pain you have been sitting in. And this message can reach them too, but only if people like you help carry it forward. So take a moment, subscribe, and then come back, because we are only just beginning, and there is so much more that needs to be said. My dear child, I want to talk to you about the silence, the long, heavy, stretching silence that has followed you through certain seasons of your life, like a shadow you could not shake. The silence where your prayers seemed to go unanswered. The silence where you called out and heard nothing back. The silence that grew so loud in your mind that it started to sound like rejection. It started to sound like absence. It started to sound like the worst fear you had was true, that maybe nobody was listening, that maybe you were truly on your own. I understand why that silence frightened you. I understand why it shook your confidence. I understand why it made you pull back a little, trust a little less, hope a little more carefully. The world we live in has taught you that silence means absence, that quiet means nothing is happening, that if something or someone truly cared they would make noise about it. And by that standard, my silence felt like abandonment. But I need to reframe that silence for you today. I need you to see it from a completely different angle, because the silence you experienced was not the silence of abandonment. It was the silence of preparation. It was the silence of a gardener who has planted a seed and is now doing the invisible work, the underground work, the work that cannot be seen from the surface, but is the most important work of all. Think about what a seed experiences in the ground. It is surrounded by darkness. It is buried. It cannot see anything above it. It does not know if the sun is still shining, because it is too deep to feel the warmth directly. It sits in cold, dark silence and has no way of knowing whether anything is happening, whether anything will ever change, whether all the potential locked inside it will ever actually become something real. From the seed's perspective, it could feel like nothing. It could feel like being forgotten. But the truth is that the seed is in the most active phase of its entire existence. Its roots are forming. Its identity is being established underground before anything is established above ground. The very thing that will hold it upright when storms come, the thing that will allow it to grow tall without falling over, is being built in the silence and the darkness where nobody can see it. And then one day, without warning, without a grand announcement, it breaks through the surface. And what looked like nothing for so long suddenly becomes visible. And it becomes something that can never be pushed back underground again. That is what the silent seasons of your life were. That is what was happening when heaven seemed quiet. I was doing underground work in you. I was building roots you did not know you needed. I was forming strength in hidden places that would only make sense later, when the storms came and you discovered that you did not fall. When the pressure arrived and you discovered you were able to withstand it. When the test came and you surprised yourself with what you knew. That was the fruit of the silent seasons. That was what was growing in the dark. And my child, I also want to tell you something else about the silence. Sometimes I go quiet not because I am working underground, but because I am inviting you deeper. The loudest relationships in your life are rarely the deepest ones. The relationships that go deepest are the ones with long stretches of comfortable quiet, the ones where you do not need constant noise to feel connected, the ones where the silence itself becomes a form of intimacy. I was drawing you into that kind of relationship with me. I was inviting you past the surface level, past the noise and performance and religious activity, into the deep quiet place where two souls simply sit together and know each other. You were not being punished with silence. You were being invited into intimacy. And even if you did not know how to respond to it, even if the quiet felt more like absence than invitation, I never stopped being present in it. I was always there, always near, always holding the space open, waiting patiently for the day when you would stop fighting the quiet and let yourself simply rest in it. That day may be today. This moment may be the one where you finally let the silence stop feeling like rejection and start feeling like what it always was, the gentle, patient, persistent presence of a love that does not need noise to prove itself. I am here in the quiet. I have always been here. And now that you know that, the silence will never feel the same again. My dear child, let me now speak to you about something you have carried for a very long time. Something that has shaped the way you move through every single day without you even fully realizing it. It is the weight of being unseen, the ache of showing up, giving everything, pouring yourself out, doing your best, and still feeling like nobody truly noticed. Like your effort was invisible. Like your pain was invisible. Like you were invisible. You have walked into rooms full of people and felt completely alone. You have done things for others that cost you everything and received almost nothing in return. You have cried in front of people and had them look right through the tears to what they needed from you next. You have smiled through things that were breaking you because being the one who holds it together was the role you somehow inherited and could never put down. And underneath all of that performing, underneath all of that giving, underneath all of that holding together, there has been a small, quiet voice inside you that has been asking the same question for years. Does anyone actually see me? Not the role I play, not the function I serve, not the strength I perform. Me, the real me, the tired me, the scared me, the me that exists behind the smile and the effort and the showing up. Does anyone see that person? Does that person matter to anyone? And I want to answer that question now with everything I have. Yes, I see you. I see all of you. Every version of you, the brave one and the terrified one, the generous one and the exhausted one, the one who shows up for everyone else, and the one who falls apart when nobody is watching. I see every single layer, and every single layer is precious to me. I see the way you try. I see how much you care. I see the things you sacrifice that nobody ever thanks you for. I see the kindnesses you pour out, even when you are running on empty. I see the prayers you pray in the dark for other people, while your own heart is breaking. I see the moments you choose to be strong for someone else, when you desperately need someone to be strong for you. I see all of it. Every single act of love and courage and endurance that has gone unnoticed by the world around you. None of it is invisible to me. None of it is small to me. None of it is forgotten. In fact, I want to tell you something about the things that went unnoticed by people around you. The things you did in secret. The kindnesses you chose when nobody was watching. The moments you stayed faithful when leaving would have been easier. The times you kept going when quitting was the most reasonable option available to you. Those are the moments I honor most deeply. Not because the public moments do not matter, but because the private ones reveal who you truly are. They reveal the real substance of your character. And what is revealed in those moments is extraordinary. You are more than what people have said about you. You are more than what the world has reduced you to. You are more than your worst season, more than your biggest mistake, more than the way you look when you are tired, more than the way you sound when you are sad. You are a person of deep worth, of profound beauty, of genuine significance. And I have never stopped seeing that about you, not for a single day, not for a single moment. Your name is written on my hands. Do you understand what that means? It means you are permanently part of me. It means when I look at my own hands, I see your name. You are that close. You are that central to who I am and what I care about. You are not a footnote. You are not a background character. You are not someone I think about occasionally when I have time. You are always on my mind. You are always in my view. You are always in my heart. So the next time the feeling of invisibility comes, and it may come again because feelings do not always immediately respond to truth, I want you to meet it with this: I am seen by the only one whose seeing truly counts. I am known by the one who made me, and that knowing is complete, and that knowing is kind, and that knowing is permanent. I am not invisible. I am intimately known by the most important person in the universe, and that is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything. My dear child, I want to speak now about the way you carry your pain, because you have developed a very particular way of doing it that I have watched with both deep admiration and deep concern. You have become an expert at carrying things alone. You have become so skilled at hiding your struggle that most people around you have no idea how much weight you are actually managing on any given day. You have learned to perform wellness while privately falling apart. You have learned to speak about your pain only in the past tense, only once you have survived it, never while you are still in the middle of it. And on one level, I understand why you developed this way of being. The world has not always been safe with your vulnerability. You showed your pain once and someone used it against you. You opened up and were met with indifference or awkwardness or advice when all you needed was presence. You let someone see the real weight of what you were carrying, and they backed away instead of moving closer. And so you learned. You learned that it was safer to carry alone than to risk that kind of disappointment again. But my child, what you learned to do with people, hiding the weight, carrying alone, performing strength, please do not do that with me. Because I am not like the people who disappointed you. I am not going to back away when you show me the real weight. I am not going to use your vulnerability as a weapon against you. I am not going to offer you empty advice when what you need is a hand to hold. I am not going to look at your pain and see it as too much, as inconvenient, as uncomfortable. I was specifically made to be able to hold everything you bring to me. There is no version of your pain that is too heavy for my hands. There is no level of your breaking that will push me away. In fact, the more broken you come to me, the closer I come to you. Not because I enjoy watching you suffer, but because broken things are the things I specialize in. Wholeness does not need me the way brokenness does. A full cup does not need to be refilled the way an empty one does. And when you come to me empty, when you come with nothing left, when you come with shaking hands and no words and nothing to offer but your need, that is when I can give you everything. That is when there is finally room in you for all that I carry for you. So I want to encourage you to stop hiding from me. Stop cleaning yourself up before you come. Stop waiting until you have something worth saying or something worth presenting. Come as you are, right now, in whatever state you are actually in. Come with the mess. Come with the confusion. Come with the fear and the doubt and the exhaustion. Come with the anger if that is what is there. Come with the grief. Come with the emptiness. Just come. Because I am already here, and I am already ready, and I have been waiting for exactly this. For the real you to stop pretending and simply show up, and when you do, here is what I will not do. I will not lecture you. I will not run down a list of things you did wrong. I will not make you feel small for struggling. I will not make the condition of my love dependent on you getting yourself together first. I will not show you the door when the tears start. I will not check my watch. I will not grow impatient. I will simply be here, fully here, with everything I have, for however long you need, with arms wide open and a heart that refuses to let go of you. That is who I am. That is how I love. Not at a careful managed distance, but close. Dangerously, wonderfully, irrevocably close. Close enough to catch you before you hit the ground. Close enough to hear the prayers you never said out loud. Close enough to feel the weight you are carrying before you even know how to describe it. This is the love I have for you, and it is not going anywhere. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. My dear child, I want to talk to you about something that the enemy of your soul has been using against you for far too long. A weapon that has done more damage to your heart than almost anything else. A lie so clever, so patient, so persistent, that many people never identify it for what it is. They just live under its weight and wonder why they feel so heavy all the time. The lie is this: you are too far gone for anything good. You have heard it in different forms at different times. Sometimes it sounds like you have wasted too much time. Sometimes it sounds like you made too many mistakes. Sometimes it sounds like you missed your chance. Sometimes it sounds like people like you do not get the kind of life you are hoping for. Sometimes it sounds like, be realistic. This is just how things are going to be. Sometimes it sounds like nothing at all, just a quiet heaviness in your chest that makes hope feel foolish and expectation feel dangerous. But in every form, it is the same lie, and I need you to hear me say this as clearly as I can say anything. That lie is not true, not even a little bit. Not even in the places where it seems most convincing. Not even when your circumstances appear to confirm it. Not even when the people around you have stopped expecting good things for your life. The lie is a lie, and I am here to dismantle it. You are not too far gone. You have not missed your moment. You have not wasted your chance. You have not committed anything that puts you beyond the reach of goodness and restoration and new beginnings. I am not a God of almost. Not a God of if only you had come sooner. Not a God of sorry, that window has closed. I am the God of right now. I am the God of this moment. I am the God who makes all things new, and all things means all things, including the things in your story that you have been carrying with shame. The chapters you wish you could rewrite, the decisions that still hurt when you think about them in the dark. My child, we are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit our Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express. Here is something I want you to understand about the way I see time. You see a timeline. You see the past falling away behind you, full of mistakes and missed opportunities, and things you cannot get back. And you see the future somewhere up ahead, uncertain and maybe a little frightening. And you feel stuck in the middle trying to figure out how to get from where you are to somewhere better, with all the damage of the past still attached to you. But I do not see it that way. I see your whole story at once. I see the beginning and the end and every point in between. And from where I stand, I do not see wasted years. I see preparation. I do not see mistakes. I see the shaping of a person who will carry wisdom that cannot be learned any other way. I do not see closed doors. I see redirections toward something better than the original destination. I do not see damage. I see the raw material of a testimony that will one day light up the darkness for someone else. Nothing in your story is wasted in my hands. Not 1 year, not one painful experience, not one failure, not one detour. I am the God who uses everything, who redeems everything, who weaves every dark thread into a pattern that eventually reveals something beautiful. And your story, your specific, particular, messy, complicated, painful, brave, stubborn, beautiful story is not finished, not even close. The best chapters are still being written, and I am writing them with full knowledge of everything that came before. So I am asking you to do something today. I am asking you to hand me the lie. The specific version of it that has been living in your chest. The particular flavor of not enough or too late or too broken or too far gone that has been weighing you down. Identify it. Name it if you can, and then hand it to me. Because I do not want to work around it. I want to dismantle it. I want to replace it with truth that is so solid, so stable, so deeply rooted in who I am and who you are to me, that the next time the lie comes knocking, it finds no room left inside you to inhabit. You are not too far gone. You are exactly where you are, which is exactly where I can reach you. And I am reaching, right now, with this very message. This is me reaching for you and saying, come as you are. Bring the mess, bring the shame, bring the broken pieces, bring the years that felt wasted. I have plans for all of it, good plans. Plans that will make your heart leap when they begin to unfold. Plans that will make you look back at this very moment and say, that was when everything started to turn. My dear child, I want to speak to you now about your prayers. Not just the words you have prayed, but everything that qualifies as prayer. Everything that has ever been a reaching out from your heart towards something beyond yourself. Because I think you have a smaller definition of prayer than the one I work with. I think you believe that prayer has to be structured and worded correctly and delivered with a certain amount of faith and presented in a certain kind of posture before it counts. And if your prayer does not meet those standards, you worry that it does not reach me. But let me give you my definition of prayer. Prayer is any honest reaching of your heart toward me. That is all. That is the whole definition. Honest reaching. It does not have to be eloquent. It does not have to be long. It does not have to be confident. It does not have to use the right language or the right format. It does not even have to use words. It just has to be honest, and it just has to be reaching some movement of your heart in my direction, however small, however uncertain, however full of doubt. By that definition, you have been praying your whole life. Every time you looked up at the sky and felt something you could not name. Every time you whispered the word help into the darkness. Every time you cried without knowing exactly what you were crying for, but feeling like somewhere in the crying was a conversation you could not quite articulate. Every time you lay awake at night and felt that quiet ache for something more, something real, something that would not disappoint you. Every time you simply breathed and felt the weight of being human. All of that was prayer. All of that reached me. All of it was received. And I want to tell you something specific about the sighs. Those heavy exhales. Those long, wordless releases of breath that carry everything you could not say. I have a particular love for those prayers. Not because they are better than the spoken ones, but because they are perhaps the most unguarded ones. When you sigh like that, you are not performing for anyone. You are not managing the impression you make. You are not trying to say the right thing. You are simply letting out what is inside, raw and unfiltered. And in that rawness there is a kind of honesty that moves me deeply. I collected every sigh you ever released. Every wordless exhale, every shaking breath, every catching of air in your throat when something was too much to hold. I collected them like they were precious, because they are precious. They are the sound of a human soul being completely honest with its maker. And I have never once heard one of those and thought, that is not enough for me to respond to. I have always heard them and moved toward you. And here is something I also want you to understand about the times your prayers felt unanswered. Just because you did not receive what you asked for does not mean the prayer went unheard or unanswered. Sometimes the answer to a prayer is not yes. Sometimes it is not yet. Sometimes it is I have something better in mind than what you are asking for. Sometimes it is I am protecting you from the very thing you are requesting. And sometimes the answer is already being worked out in ways that are invisible to you. In the underground silent work that looks like nothing from the surface, but is actually the most important activity happening in your life. Your prayers have never been wasted. Not one. Every prayer you ever prayed contributed to the story that is unfolding. Every cry for help activated something. Every whispered need sets something in motion. You have been sowing seeds of prayer for years, and some of those seeds are only now beginning to break the surface. The harvest from your faithful, persistent, sometimes desperate, sometimes beautiful prayers is coming. And it will come in ways you do not fully expect, which is usually the most wonderful way for something to arrive, when it shows up in a form better than what you imagined. Keep praying, my dear child. Not because you have to perform for me, but because conversation with me is the most important thing you have access to in this life. Not because the words have to be perfect, but because your honest heart reaching toward me is the most valuable thing you can offer, and I receive it with joy every single time. Keep the conversation going. Keep showing up. Keep bringing whatever you have, whether it is a full heart or an empty one, a loud voice or a trembling silence. I am always here. I am always listening. I am always ready to respond. And the relationship between your heart and mine is the most real, most lasting, most life-changing thing available to you in this world. My dear child, let me talk to you about fear. Not fear in the abstract, but the specific fears that have been living inside you. The ones that have been quietly shaping your decisions and limiting your steps and making the future feel smaller than it was designed to be. You know what your fears are. You do not need me to list them. But what I want to do right now is not analyze your fears. I want to challenge the foundation they are built on. Because fear, at its root, is always built on the same thing. It is built on the belief that you are going to have to face whatever is coming alone, without adequate resources, without enough strength, without anyone truly in your corner. That is what makes the future frightening. Not the future itself, but the prospect of facing it with nothing but your own fragile, finite, tired human self. And I understand why that prospect is frightening. On your own, the future is genuinely uncertain. On your own, the challenges ahead are genuinely bigger than your resources. On your own, the unknown is legitimately threatening. I am not going to pretend that your fear is irrational. In a world where you are truly on your own, fear is the only reasonable response to uncertainty. But you are not on your own, and that changes everything. Absolutely everything. When the thing you are afraid of arrives, and some of it will arrive, I will already be there. I will not be scrambling to catch up to you when the hard thing happens. I will be ahead of you, already present in the situation you are walking into, already having made a way through it, already having positioned what you need. You will not show up to the difficulty alone and unprepared. You will show up with me beside you, within you, going before you, and standing behind you. And with that arrangement, the thing that frightened you from a distance looks very different when you arrive at it in my presence. I also want to speak to the fear that is harder to name. The fear of your own inadequacy. The fear that even if the right opportunity arrives, you will not be enough for it. The fear that you are fundamentally less than what your purpose requires. The fear that who you are, with all your limitations and flaws and gaps and wounds, is simply not sufficient for the life you are supposed to be living. This fear is a particularly cruel one, because it attacks you from the inside. It does not wait for an external threat. It lives in your own mind and turns your own thoughts against you. And I want to dismantle it completely. You were not created to be sufficient on your own. That was never the plan. The plan was never for you to have everything you need independently of me, to be self-contained, self-sufficient, needing nothing from outside yourself. That is not what human beings were designed to be. You were designed to be insufficient on your own precisely, so that the relationship between you and me would always be necessary. Your need for me is not a flaw. Your inadequacy on your own is not a failure of design. It is the design working exactly as intended. I am not looking for people who have everything together to do great things through. I am looking for people who are honest about their need, who are willing to be filled by something greater than themselves, who are humble enough to acknowledge that their strength alone is not the point. Those are the people through whom I do the most extraordinary things. Not because they are the most naturally gifted, but because they have stopped relying solely on their own gifts and started relying on mine. So the fear of inadequacy can go. It has been living in you under false pretenses. You do not need to be enough on your own. You never were supposed to be. And now that you know that, you can stop trying to compensate for the gaps and the limitations and the places where you feel insufficient. You can simply come to me with what you have, however small, however imperfect, however far from what you think is needed. And I will make up the difference. I will always make up the difference. That is what I do. That is who I am. I take what little my children bring and multiply it into something that leaves everyone who witnesses it amazed. My dear child, I want to tell you about the shift that is happening right now. Not just inside you, but around you. In the atmosphere of your life. In the circumstances that have felt so stuck for so long. There is a movement beginning that your physical eyes cannot yet see, but that your spirit has already begun to sense. Something is changing. Something that was locked is being unlocked. Something that was held back is being released. And what I am about to say to you, I need you to receive it not just intellectually, but deep in your spirit where real transformation begins. The season you have been in is ending. I know that might be hard to believe. I know that seasons of difficulty have a way of feeling permanent, of making you forget that they are, by definition, temporary. I know that when you have been in pain for a long time, the idea that it will end starts to feel like a fairy tale that applies to other people, but probably not to you. I know that hope deferred makes the heart grow wary, and your heart has grown very wary from hoping and waiting, and not yet seeing the thing you have been believing for. But I need to tell you that the wariness itself is sometimes a sign that the season is ending. The darkest hour really is just before dawn, not as a cliche, but as a spiritual reality. The moment when the weight feels most unbearable is often the moment when the breakthrough is closest. The moment when you are most tempted to give up and accept that nothing will change is often the exact moment when everything is about to change. I am not asking you to manufacture hope you do not have. I am not asking you to perform positivity when your heart is genuinely grieving. I am not asking you to pretend the difficulty is not real or that the waiting has not been long. I am acknowledging all of that. I am sitting with you in all of that. And I am telling you, from a vantage point that sees your whole story from beginning to end, that what is coming is worth the wait. What I am preparing to release into your life is worth every painful day of the season you have been in. The shift that is happening is not small. It is not just a slight improvement. It is the kind of change that marks time, the kind that makes you divide your life into before and after. And it is initiated not by your own effort or your own worthiness, but by my timing, which is always perfect, and my love, which never fails. The shift is already in motion. You may not be able to see it yet, but your spirit has been sensing it, and soon, you will see it with your own eyes. What was shut will open. What was dry will flow again. What was silent will begin to speak. What was delayed will arrive with an abundance that makes up for every moment of the wait. What was taken will be restored, and restored with interest. What was broken will be healed, and healed in a way that makes you stronger than you were before it broke. This is not wishful thinking. This is my word to you today, specific and personal and true. And I do not break my word, so hold on. Just a little longer. Not with gritted teeth and white knuckles and the grim determination of someone who has no choice. Hold on with the open hands of someone who is expectant. Hold on with the lifted face of someone who knows that what is coming is good. Hold on with the quiet confidence of someone who has heard a promise from the only one in the universe, whose promises are completely reliable. And watch. Watch what I am about to do in your life, because it is going to be something beautiful. Beloved, this ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. My dear child, I want to address something that I know is sitting quietly in the back of your mind. Even as you listen to this, you have heard beautiful words before. You have received encouragement before. You have been lifted up by a message or a song or a conversation before. And then the next morning you woke up and the hard thing was still there. The situation was unchanged. The struggle was still real. And the encouragement felt like it belonged to the night before rather than the new day. And so part of you is protecting itself right now. Part of you is receiving these words with a hand half extended, not fully closed, not fully open, but somewhere in between. Because you have learned that words are easy and situations are hard, and that the distance between a beautiful message and a changed life can sometimes feel impossibly wide. I hear that. I understand that. And I am not here to give you empty words that evaporate by morning. So let me say something that goes deeper than encouragement. Something that is not just meant to make you feel better in this moment, but to actually shift something foundational in the way you are living. The reason the gap between inspiration and transformation feels so wide is usually not because transformation is impossible. It is because transformation requires a different kind of engagement than inspiration. Inspiration washes over you and then is gone. Transformation changes your roots, and roots change slowly, in the dark, quietly, over time. Through consistent small choices, more than through single dramatic moments. The moments like this one, the ones where something moves in your heart, where a truth lands deeper than usual, where you feel that specific warmth that says this is real, these moments are important. Not because they transform everything on their own, but because they plant something. They drop a seed of truth into a place inside you that, if you tend it, if you return to it, if you water it with continued seeking and continued honesty and continued conversation with me, will grow into something that genuinely changes the way you live. I am not just trying to make you feel good for an hour. I am trying to plant something in you that will bear fruit for years. And the planting happens in moments like this one. In moments when your heart is open enough to receive a truth it could not receive before. In moments when the ground of your soul has been softened by the rain of difficulty, and is finally ready for a seed to take root. So do not dismiss what you are feeling right now as just another emotional moment that will fade. Do not let your protection mechanism write this off as temporary. Let it land. Really land. Let the truths in this message reach into the deep places and stay there. Let them become part of how you think about yourself, and how you think about me, and how you approach the life that is still ahead of you. And then, when you wake up tomorrow and the situation is still there, remember what you planted today. Return to it. Water it. Come back to the truth. Not just once, but again and again, because that is how roots form. That is how real change happens. Not in a single moment, but in 1,000 small moments of choosing truth over fear, hope over despair, faith over the instinct to protect yourself from another disappointment. I am with you in the single moment, and I am with you in the 1,000 small moments that follow. I am here today in this big feeling, and I will be here tomorrow in the ordinary, undramatic, daily living. I am the God of the mountaintop, and the valley and every flat, unremarkable stretch of road in between. And my presence in all of it is equally real and equally sustaining and equally full of love. My dear child, I want to speak now about the people in your life, about the relationships that have shaped you, the ones that healed you and the ones that hurt you, the ones that built you up, and the ones that quietly, persistently wore you down. Because I know that some of the heaviest weight you carry is not the weight of circumstances, but the weight of people. The people who left when you needed them to stay. The people who stayed but made you feel more alone than if they had gone. The people who promised and did not deliver. The people who saw you at your worst and chose to use it against you rather than holding it with care. I have watched all of it. I have seen every relationship in your life from the inside out. I know what was given and what was taken. I know who showed up and who disappeared. I know the words that were said and the ones that were withheld at the moments you needed them most. I know the ones who truly loved you well, and the ones who loved you in the way they were capable of, which sometimes was not nearly enough for what you needed. And I want to say something very important about the pain that came from those relationships. It was real. Your hurt was real. Your grief over broken trust was real. The loneliness of being let down by people you depended on was real. I am not going to minimize it by telling you to simply forgive and move on, as though the wound were small and the healing were simple. I know it is not small. I know that the deepest wounds in most people's lives did not come from the cruelty of strangers, but from the carelessness of people they loved. And I take that seriously. But I want to also say something about the people who hurt you. Most of them hurt you not because you were not worth loving well, but because they did not know how. Most of them carried their own damage into the relationship, and that damage inevitably touched you. Most of them were trying in the only way they knew how, which was limited and flawed, and sometimes deeply harmful. That does not excuse the harm they caused, but it does separate the harm from your worth. You are not unlovable because people have loved you poorly. You are not unworthy of faithfulness because people have been unfaithful. You are not too broken to be chosen because people have chosen other things over you. Their limitations were not a verdict on your value, and I want you to stop reading the wounds that people gave you as evidence of your worth, because they are not that. They are evidence of their wounds, of their limitations, of the ways in which human love at its very best is always partial and imperfect. My love is not partial. My love is not imperfect. My love is not limited by my own wounds or my own fears or my own capacity on any given day. My love for you is complete, consistent, full, unaffected by circumstances, undiminished by your mistakes, unaffected by how many times you have disappointed yourself. It is the love you have been looking for in human relationships, without quite finding it, because it does not exist in human relationships in its purest form. It exists here in me, available to you fully and freely, not as a reward for being lovable enough, but as a gift that I give because of who I am, not because of who you are. I am not saying human love does not matter. I am not saying the relationships in your life are unimportant. They matter enormously. They are one of the primary ways I express my love to you through the world. But when those relationships fail you, and all of them will fail you in some way at some point, because all of them are carried by imperfect people, I do not want you to read that failure as evidence that love is unavailable to you. Come back to me. Let me remind you what love that does not fail feels like. Let me fill the gap left by human limitation. And then go back into your relationships, not with the desperate need for them to be everything, but with the overflow of what you have already received from me. That is the life I want for you. Not a life of lonely self-sufficiency or a life of codependency with people who can never be what you need, but a life of deep connection with me that overflows into rich, healthy, boundaried, joyful connection with the people around you. That is available to you. It begins here, with this relationship, with this presence, with this love that never leaves and never fails and never runs out. My dear child, I want to speak to you now about your purpose, about the specific reason you are here, in this world, at this time, in this particular body with this particular story, because I know that question has been one of the deeper aches in your heart. Not just what do I do with my life, but why am I here? What is my real contribution? What was I made for? Does my existence matter in a way that extends beyond just taking up space and then eventually leaving it? Dear child, if these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and God's word with countless souls around the world. Let me answer that directly and clearly, and without any ambiguity. You were made on purpose, for a purpose, and with a purpose that is specific to you. Not general, not interchangeable with someone else. Specific. There is something about who you are. The combination of your experiences and your gifts and your personality and your story and your particular way of seeing the world that the world needs. Not needed in a general sense, but needs in a specific, particular way that only you can meet. There is a space in the world that was shaped for you before you were born. And everything you have been through, including the hard things, especially the hard things, has been forming you to fill that space. I know that might feel abstract when you are in the middle of trying to figure out what comes next. I know that purpose feels very far away when you are just trying to get through the week. But here is what I want you to understand. Your purpose is not a destination you arrive at someday, when all the pieces fall into place. Your purpose is being lived right now in how you treat people, in how you respond to difficulty, in the small daily choices you make about what kind of person you are going to be. The grand purpose does not exist apart from the ordinary purpose. The extraordinary is built out of the ordinary, one faithful day at a time, and the things in your story that you think disqualify you from purpose. The failures, the wrong turns, the wasted years, the things you are ashamed of, they do not disqualify you. In most cases, they are the very things that qualify you. Because the world does not need more people who have only ever experienced success. The world desperately needs people who have been broken and rebuilt, who have been lost and found, who have been in the darkness and found their way to the light. Those are the people who can speak hope into other people's hopelessness. Those are the people whose words carry weight because their words were paid for with real experience. Your suffering was not purposeless. Your struggle was not a detour from your purpose. It was the making of it. And the person you have become through everything you have been through is exactly the person the world needs in the place I am calling you to stand. Do not minimize what you carry. Do not apologize for the story you have. Your story is your credential, and it is a powerful one. So step into your purpose, not when you feel ready, because readiness rarely comes before the step. Step in now. Let the next right thing be your first step, and trust that I who gave you the purpose also know how to lead you through it. One step at a time, one day at a time, with full knowledge of every limitation you bring and full capacity to make up the difference in every place you fall short. You were made for this, the this that is specific to you, and I am here to walk every step of it with you. My dear child, we are coming toward the end of this message together, and I want to use these final words to do something very specific. I want to speak directly to the future. I want to speak to the days and weeks and months that are coming, the ones that are still unwritten, the ones that are being shaped right now by what I am planting in your heart in this very moment. The future that is ahead of you is not the continuation of the worst parts of your past. I know that is what fear tells you. Fear has a very convincing way of looking at the pattern of your past and projecting it forward indefinitely, saying, "See how this has gone. This is how it will keep going. Do not expect anything different." But fear does not know what I know. Fear does not have access to what I am already doing in the unseen places. Fear does not know what I have planned for the days ahead of you. And what I have planned is good. Not good in the sense of comfortable and easy and without challenge. Good in the deeper sense. Good in the sense of meaningful, rich, purposeful, full of moments that matter. Good in the sense of growth that stretches you into more than you currently are. Good in the sense of connections with people who will genuinely see you and know you and love you well. Good in the sense of work that satisfies something deep in you, work that feels like the reason you are here. Good in the sense of healing that reaches the places that have been hurting for the longest time. Good in the sense of peace that does not depend on circumstances. Good in the sense of joy that runs deeper than happiness. This is what is ahead of you. Not perfection, not the absence of difficulty, but genuine goodness. The kind that is real and lasting and not dependent on everything going right. And I will be there in all of it, in the good days cheering you on and delighting in your joy, and in the hard days holding you together and making sure you do not face the difficulty alone. I want you to go into tomorrow differently than you have been going into your days. I want you to go with the knowledge, solid and settled deep in your chest, that you are loved, that you are seen, that you are not alone, that your story is not over, that the best is still coming, and that the one who made you is with you every single step of the way. Carry that knowledge not as a feeling that might fade, but as a truth you return to again and again, especially on the days when the feeling is absent. Because here is the most important thing I can leave you with. I do not change. What I am to you today, I will be to you tomorrow, and the day after, and 10 years from now, and at the very end of your life, when you take your final breath and step into what comes next. The love that is speaking to you in this moment is the same love that has been with you every day of your life so far, and will be with you every day still to come. I am constant. I am faithful. I am permanent. And nothing that happens in the days ahead of you will ever change that. You are my child. I am your father, your maker, your sustainer, the keeper of your heart, the author of your story, the one who goes before you and follows behind you and walks beside you all at once. And I am telling you today, from a place of complete certainty and complete love, it is going to be okay. better than okay. It is going to be something you will one day look back on with amazement and gratitude, and the particular joy of someone who trusted through the hard part and then got to see what the hard part was making space for. Hold on, my dear child. Keep going. Keep breathing. Keep trusting. Keep showing up. Keep your heart open even when it wants to close. Keep believing even when believing is the hardest thing available to you. Because I am with you. I have always been with you. I will always be with you. And that, my beloved, is a promise that will never be broken. I love you more than you currently have the capacity to understand. And that love is your foundation, your shelter, your constant companion, and your greatest source of strength for every single day that still lies ahead. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not beyond hope. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are seen. You are known. You are held. You are loved. You are mine, and that changes everything.